From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
It is great to be back in Big Sky Country.
Vice President Mike Pence back in Montana, pitching for Senator Steve Daines and other Republicans who are running for office. Thanks for joining us on your Monday. I'm Russ Riesinger. From promoting Montana candidates and President Donald Trump to putting down Joe Biden and professing to defund Planned Parenthood, the vice president spoke to a pretty large crowd in Belgrade today.
But I'm here because Montana and America need 4 more years of President Donald Trump in the White House.
The vice president was joined on stage by A.J. Not Afraid, the chairman of the Crow tribe, who endorsed the Republicans who are running, including President Trump. Pence said the road to victory runs right through Montana as he rallied the partisan crowd, making a pitch for Steve Daines, Matt Rosendale, and Greg Gianforte. President Trump won Montana easily in 2016. Pence played up the job he's done, saying the president has cut taxes, rolled back regulations, and stood for the sanctity of human life. He also defended the president's response to the coronavirus, even though the president admitted to purposely playing down the threat.
In our first 3 years, more Americans were working than ever before. In a word, we made America great again. And then the coronavirus struck from China. But the people of Montana deserve to know that before the first documented case of community spread happened in the United States, President Trump took action that no other American president had ever taken when he suspended all travel from China.
The vice president took quite a few shots at Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden, as you might expect, trying to portray both him and Montana Governor Steve Bullock as being with what Pence called the radical left. With Montana's Senate race expected to be very close, it wouldn't be surprising to see either Pence or even the president himself make a trip here before the election. Well, state health authorities confirmed 2 more COVID-related deaths across Montana today, bringing the state total to 140 now. One of those victims here in Yellowstone County, the other in Lake County. Riverstone health officials tell us a man in his 70s died on Saturday in a local hospital. So far, COVID-19 is tied to 52 deaths across Yellowstone County and just over 2,000 active cases across the state. More confirmed coronavirus-related deaths in Wyoming tonight. The Wyoming Department of Health says 3 Sheridan County residents have died and 1 Natrona County resident. There have now been 46 coronavirus-related deaths in Wyoming since the pandemic began. President Trump visits California as nearly 100 wildfires continue to ravage the state and other parts of the West Coast. The president has blamed poor forest management for the flames that have killed at least 35 people now in 3 states, and smoke is creating dangerously bad air quality in the region. Nichelle Medina reports from San Diego, California.
President Trump met with California Governor Gavin Newsom and local fire officials amid a record-breaking fire season in the state. Since the beginning of the year, wildfires in California have burned over 3.2 million acres, which is larger than the state of Connecticut.
We want to thank all of the brave fighters. We want to thank these incredible people, the first responders, service members who are racing to the extreme peril, really, of their lives and extreme danger.
Governor Newsom says climate change is responsible for the extreme fire conditions.
We obviously feel very strongly that the hots are getting hotter, the dries are getting drier. Climate change is real, and that is exacerbating this.
28 major wildfires are burning across the state, including the Bobcat Fire in Los Angeles County.
Mandatory evacuation.
The fire has burned 36,000 acres and triggered more evacuations Sunday.
It's come down quite a bit. A huge amount.
Across the West region, thick smoke is creating harmful levels of air pollution in Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Portland, spreading unhealthy air conditions all the way up to Canada. In Oregon, this drone video shows red fire retardant over streets and residences in the aftermath of fires that decimated the towns of Talent and Phoenix.
There are early reports from our state police that there are dozens of missing persons related to the fires.
At least 10 people have died in the state, including Peggy Masso and her 13-year-old grandson, Wyatt Tafty.
I think it does
bring the family some comfort to know that he was really focused on trying to save his grandmother.
Forecasters say strong winds and low humidity in the region Monday could threaten progress crews have made against the fires so far. Nichelle Medina, CBS News.
All right, Bob McGuire joining us now. And Bob, we're seeing some of the smoke from those fires.
Oh, yeah, it's coming all the way from Southern California into Oregon, Washington, and take a look. Here it is all over Montana, and it's spreading in towards basically the Dakotas and all the way in towards the upper Midwest. And this is where we are right now, earlier tonight at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And then now you'll notice the smoke continues throughout much of the night, right on into Friday night at 9 o'clock, and the smoke stays with us. That's the area highlighted in red. That's all smoke. Yeah, that's right. And as you can see, this is the way it looked earlier in Helena from the Helena webcam at the Opportunity Bank. And look at this one. This is also Flathead Lake. You can't even see the lake. This is over there by Polson, their webcam from the St. Joseph Medical Center. And so, yeah, that's how bad it is. What about air quality? Well, as you can see, we do have air quality warnings across all of western Montana. And out there, that's where we have basically healthy, unhealthy, and also hazardous type of air quality there. Here in Billington, it's changed now from actually unhealthy to actually about marginal right now. So that's very good. Looks like our weather will improve a little bit, and we'll have more about that coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob. Cloth face masks are now a part of our lives, and one Billings doctor says they're better than nothing for filtering harmful matter. The Centers for Disease Control says cloth masks only catch large particles, but will let smaller particles through, and that can irritate your lungs. You can limit your risk of smoke exposure if you stay indoors and limit outdoor exercise. Many air conditioners also have a setting to recirculate the air already in a space rather than pull it in from outside. So it doesn't hurt if you happen to leave your mask on while out running errands.
I think something is better than nothing. I wish everybody had an N95. I think we all do. But under the circumstances, I think if you can put anything over your nose and mouth, that'll filter out some of the larger particles, and no doubt smaller particles will creep through and maybe irritate the lungs or bronchial tubes. But I have to think that something is better than nothing, and you may need to seek further care in getting an inhaler, or we have lots of other tricks that we can do to help people.
Dr. Fuller also tells us COVID-19 and wildfire smoke inhalation have similar symptoms, sometimes making it tricky for doctors to sort out a patient's condition. A bail is set at $100,000 for a Colorado man and former Carroll College student. He's accused of raping 2 women, possessing child pornography, and filming more than a dozen women using the bathroom without their knowledge. MTN's John Riley has more.
22-year-old Connor Andrew Jones appeared via video in Lewis and Clark County Justice Court on 20 total charges, including aggravated sexual intercourse without consent, surreptitious visual observation, and sexual abuse of children. In February, a Carroll faculty member contacted Helena police after they found files on one of the school's SD cards that showed a young woman using the bathroom. In their initial investigation, detectives found a clip on the SD card that appeared to show a man they believed to be Jones setting up a camera in the bathroom. Carroll faculty confirmed to police Jones would have had access to the SD card, and the bathroom could have been in his apartment on campus. Files on the device seized by police from Jones are alleged to contain videos of 16 different women detectives could identify using the bathroom in Jones's apartment, as well as sexual videos of women on campus and an alleged rape. The women in the videos told police they had no knowledge of being filmed at the time and did not give their consent to do so. A Montana Division of Criminal Investigation agent also located more than 700 files that are alleged to contain child pornography, with some depicting a child under the age of 10. Carroll College has confirmed that current and former students were among the victims of the alleged crimes. The college described the situation as deeply disturbing and is actively conducting an internal investigation as well as working with the county attorney's office. Carroll encourages anyone with knowledge about this case, or if they're a victim themselves, to reach out. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Now, if Jones is able to post bail, he must surrender his passport and wear a GPS device. A former University of Montana basketball player accused of strangling his girlfriend last month says he didn't do it. 20-year-old Naseen Gaskin pleaded not guilty today to felony strangulation and partner family member assault. Charges were filed against the former Grizz player on August 21st after his girlfriend alleged he pinned her to a bed and strangled her during an argument. Gaskin was let go from the team and is no longer enrolled at UM. The U.S. Census is now counting people in Montana's prisons and jails, but some Native American activists say the state corrections department is not giving the census accurate information. The activists appeared today before a state legislative panel and also held public events around Helena to try and make their case. Native American activist Lori Littledog of Bozeman says the corrections department count does not include accurate numbers on whether inmates are Native American or the inmate's tribal identification. She says that's important information for Indian tribes in Montana and could affect the distribution of financial aid and other resources. The Corrections Department says it's working with the Census Bureau and has determined tribal affiliation for most of the 60 inmates the DOC has listed as Native American. But Littledog says the number of Native Americans in the prison system is much higher and that the department should allow each prisoner to communicate directly to the census.
They need to give paper forms to every incarcerated person across the state of Montana and turn those paper forms directly into the processing center. The Department of Corrections doesn't get to pick and choose who they think is Native enough to identify. The people get to do that, and that's a relationship between the individual and the United States Census Bureau.
The state also said it's not responsible for data collected on inmates in non-state-run prisons in Montana and urged the census to contact them about inmates' tribal affiliations. We'll know more tomorrow night about the fate of the proposed Billings public safety levy, and that means you have, well, less than 24 hours now to get your ballot to the Yellowstone County Elections Office. As of this afternoon, 29,000 voters have returned ballots. That's about a 50% turnout. The last public safety levy was 16 years ago. The new levy would allow the city to play catch-up to fund police, fire, and emergency services. Now, it's too late to mail your ballot. You do need to drop it off tomorrow at the Elections Office. And if you happen to be a Food Network fan, listen up. Restaurant Impossible is in Billings. Yellowstone County Commissioner Dennis Pittman says the series that helps failing restaurants turn around in only 2 days with just $10,000 is at Don Luis Mexican Restaurant in downtown Billings. Don Luis will host its socially distanced grand reopening tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Entry for a table at the grand reopening stopped on September 11th. And some good news for our local Jeopardy watchers on Q2. The popular TV game show started back up again tonight for its 37th season. However, the coronavirus will make it look a little different. Contestants will have no audience in order to comply with social distancing rules. There will also be much more space between contestants and host Alex Trebek, who has been battling cancer. Still ahead on the MTN 9 o'clock news, we're going to break down the race for Montana's Secretary of State, where despite being from different parties, the candidates have at least one thing in common. But first, Bob McGuire is back in with your full 7-day forecast.